For all the commenters who said I look tired in all of my videos, what's up now? Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex. And today I want to talk one more time about the new uniforms. There's not a lot of time left to buy them, so I wanted to cover them in more depth, especially Thanos' new uniform, but additionally the other three new uniforms that we got with the update, Yondu, Kaiju, and SpiderGwen, and give you my thoughts on them, give you comparisons to other uniforms in Yondu's case, and also talk a little bit about Thanos' uniform specifically, because I think there's some interesting things to say about that, and some predictions that I want to make about future uniforms, because that often comes up in questions when people ask me about buying this Secret Wars Thanos uniform, because this is not Infinity War Thanos. At the bottom, as you can see clearly, it is Secret War. But we'll leave Thanos to the end because he's the most interesting and I need that YouTube money, so you guys need to keep watching. So we're gonna jump in first with the three speed heroes who all coincidentally got uniforms. I think the least impact uniform out of these four is SpiderGwen's. Unfortunately, SpiderGwen is probably the least impact character out of these four, the least powerful for things like Extreme Alliance Battle, the least powerful for things like World Boss, but she's by no means a bad character. That's not what I'm saying. I just mean to say that she has a low impact and she needs a lot of love to really shine. Damage was her biggest issue coming into getting a uniform. This is not much of a uniform because they basically just unmasked her. It does look very nice graphically speaking, I will say that, and I've said it many times. But I don't think enough of her skills were changed in terms of the damage output to really change the fact that she was missing a lot of damage. Now, of course, I haven't upgraded this uniform, so if there are people out there who have, a mythic tier 2 SpiderGwen with, max stats in the two offensive roles, the physical attack and the all attack roles, and they're putting up huge damage numbers, please let me know. Perhaps with, a crit rate, crit damage, 200% proc obelisk, she can really crank out the numbers, but I still have some doubts about that given how low her damage numbers are on a lot of her skills. They did give her fourth skill a total makeover, which is very nice because it's a very cool skill now, and it's very reminiscent of Spider-Man's fifth skill where he webs the ground and he snaps up some concrete up against you. But I still think that the devs could have gone further. If you go into the uniform and you check out from the uniform list, it does say that 3 skills were changed. Hardly. I would say 1.5 skills were changed. It's very difficult to see how, Kick Talk was really changed, and her uniform bonus is okay. It could be better. It does synergize well with her tier 2 passive, so if you do get her tier 2 passive, it does help, and it does help to crank up her dodge really high, despite the fact that she only gets a guaranteed dodge rate as a buff for 20 seconds out of 25. So you do want a lot of native dodge on SpiderGwen to take advantage of both her tier 2 passive and, well, her survivability and her now uniform bonus. So there is a lot of synergy there. I do think that's very nice, but I don't think they went far enough with her skills, and I think they could have done more for the character to push her closer to the other spiders, especially someone like Silk, who has so many tier 2 bonuses, has so much CC, and just generally has a larger impact in gameplay. I do still want to test SpiderGwen in Alliance Conquest. I haven't been able to yet, but I do think she'll be even more of a headache now with all of those iframes. Not like iframes. But I would love to hear your thoughts, anyone out there who does have, as I said, tier 2 SpiderGwen with a legendary or mythic uniform. How do you feel that she performs now with this new uniform? But for me, the lowest of these four. And then we have Kid Kaiju's uniform, and this is the one that was heralded as wow, first fully paywall uniform. We had the Gwenpool uniform, but she was soft paywall. Now we have the first full Big Daddy Yankee paywall uniform, and people were excited about this, and Kid Kaiju's the reigning champ for Speed Extreme Alliance Battle, but I'm a bit disappointed personally. I haven't seen too many videos or too many numbers thrown around that have really blown my mind or blown the stats out of the water, showing why this uniform is really so good. It seems good on the outside. You have 20% all attack and all defense that goes to Smasher or Hivo. You have an extra 15% all attack. That's 35% all attack to the summon of Kid Kaiju, which is doing almost the lion's share of the work as far as the damage output and the tanking for Extreme Alliance Battle goes. You have 2 skill changes. Wow. Turns out these are not really skill changes. You can't really tell what the change is on his 3rd skill. I can't tell. And his summon just gets a facelift in terms of what it looks like and what the animations do. But again, it's very difficult to gauge whether Smasher is better than Hyvo. Just because you're not controlling Hyvo, you're not controlling Smasher, you're not controlling their skill rotations. And it's difficult to see just how much more damage they're bringing to the table with their skills, if any. So it's a bit tricky. I'm not accusing Netmarble of like hiding a bad uniform for a good character by making it all about the summon, where it's very difficult to test changes and see tangibly what's new and what's better about this character. You know, in skill preview we can clearly see, okay, they changed this animation, they totally revamped that animation. You can change the skill numbers, you can see the skill numbers being changed. But here it's just, oh yeah, you have a new summon, that's the skill change. Did you just reskin the character and change some of the animations but kept all of the numbers exactly the same? Did you lower some of the numbers? Because it's all hidden. We don't know what the damage numbers are as percentages on all of the summon skills, so we're left a little bit in the dark there. In addition, we have this kind of confusing interplay between Kid Kaiju's new uniform and Miguel O'Hara. Now, I'm not saying that Miguel O'Hara is better than Kid Kaiju, but 750 crystals for a uniform plus all of the bios, gold, and uniform upgrade kits you need, or tickets, to get his uniform up to mythic versus a $10 bio subscription and then some rank up tickets. You kind of have to weigh those two things against each other, and there is the argument to be made that there's more money for Netmarble to be made in Miguel O'Hara than in Kid Kaiju's uniform, so there's less of an incentive to make this uniform actually amazing. We had seen it in previous artwork, so we knew it was coming. Bill Roseman said it was coming, but now that it's here, I'm not super jazzed about it. I wish I was, but I'm not. But it's still good. And if you have Kid Kaiju Tier 2 and you're using him for Extreme Alliance Battle, it's definitely something you should get. And it's also required for our last big titan there, Thanos, but I think it could have been better. I think they could have changed Kid Kaiju's actual skills, especially his first skill. I feel like it's cool looking, but it just doesn't do enough. They could have really changed it. They could have made like Fireclaw show up many times and kind of zip around the field. They could have made it an iframe. I feel like they could have gone further, again, just like with SpiderGwen. Then we have our boy Yondu, the Dark Horse uniform of the update. I personally really like this uniform, and right off the bat, for any of you asking, is it better than his all new, all different uniform? Yes, absolutely it is. I think the biggest change between this uniform and the new Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 uniform is the iframe. They changed the iframe from his second skill to his third skill, and it's now a full iframe, because Yondu's all new, all different uniform had an iframe on the second skill that's very similar to Kate Bishop's iframe on her second skill, where there's a wind up, and the first, let's say 30% of the attack animation is not an iframe, so it was very easy to get hit before that, interrupted by the Frost Beast, especially for Extreme Alliance Battle. That does not happen. Dancing Arrow is an instant iframe, which is fantastic. You can immediately dodge meteors, immediately dodge the first lunge from the Frost Beast, and it makes skill combos so much smoother with Yondu. In addition, he's got so much residual damage on both Barrage of Arrows and Yaka Arrow, where you cast the skill and the arrows keep zipping around. So you can almost skill cancel most of Yondu's skills and they'll continue to do damage, and that's what makes him such a gem. It's very high skill cap. It's very difficult to play perfectly with Yondu, but if you get it, and there are already videos of it, he can put up monster numbers even at tier 1 in Extreme Alliance Battle. For that reason, and for the fact that he's got the mohawk and the arrows are back and the whistling is back, I love this uniform to pieces. It's definitely not, I can't recommend it as a must buy unless you're using Yondu specifically for Extreme Alliance Battle, but if you love the character, if you have them at tier 2, and if you have excess crystals, I would definitely pick this one up. I think it's highly entertaining to hear the whistling. The 5th skill, of course, does more damage now and has a wider AoE. The 4th skill I don't know if it does more damage. I think it does more damage than his old 4th skill, but it has movement on it, which is fantastic. So again, it helps you dodge enemy attacks, it helps you dodge meteors, it helps you reposition yourself. I think top to bottom, this is one of Netmarble's better uniforms they've released in the past few updates, not just this one update. Lots of skill changes. They had to keep the uniform bonus the same, and it's still bad, but that's okay. At least they're consistent. But I think, you know, visually speaking, this is a fantastic uniform and a great, you know, thank, or a great kind of, I want to say homage. It's not an homage, but it's just a great thing for Yondu. We were all complaining after this 2-year anniversary that Yondu didn't get a uniform. This is the uniform he deserved. He's got the Ravagers patch. It's just all the attentions to detail are there. This is Netmarble at their best, making an awesome uniform. Lastly, I want to talk about Thanos. 2,500 crystals discounted to 1,500 crystals should you buy this uniform. If you have Thanos at 6 stars, yes, buy this uniform. If you have Thanos at 5 stars and you're building him up to 6 stars, yes, buy this uniform. If you have Thanos at 1 star, no, don't buy this uniform, dummy. Don't do that. It's not that big of a deal. However, what is a big deal if you do buy this uniform is this uniform. Holy shit, boys. This is, again, Netmarble at their best. Visually speaking, this uniform is amazing. Like the cape, the fact that they actually took out one of the Infinity Stones, the fact that it glows, so when you spin it, it glows. This looks amazing. Like, this is masterful, mobile artwork. Additionally, changes to Titan Beam. This skill is one of the most interesting skills and one of the most hilarious looking skills in the game now. That happened. That skill was so lame before, and now it's so cool. Force of Infinity? Holy shit. The name matches the skill. Rises up, full iframe, and then throws these giant golden orbs at you. I'm not making those jokes anymore. Just an amazing change for a character who really needed it. Thanos was so boring, so tired and old, and oh yeah, we know how Thanos plays, just 1 and 5, yeah, whatever. Now, this guy's like all the spices. Like, your spice rack just fell on the floor and all of the spices mixed together, and that's this dude, Thanos. If you are getting this uniform, it is fantastic. Totally changes the character, puts him on par with Dormammu for Extreme Alliance Battle once you rank up his uniform, and makes him an even bigger nightmare, capable of taking down Jean Grey in Timeline. The new iframes especially really help him out. Increased damage output with the second skill. The first skill is better. Some people have spoken a little bit about his 4-star passive, that it is worse now. I have heard this being said. Mad Titan. So Mad Titan before activated when Thanos would get hit, and it would give him either immunity or HP recovery with a 25% chance. Now it triggers when he attacks. Is it better? Yes, I think it is better. I don't think it's worse. And I don't think it's worse because Thanos has more iframes now. He has iframes on his 5th skill. He has iframes on his 4th skill. He has kind of almost iframes on his 3rd skill. He's got invincibility on his 1st skill. He has so many skills now that protect him that he's not really needing that defensive when hit trigger. And in addition, it also triggers both. So this could trigger at the end of his 5th skill when he has a little bit of health, and then suddenly he gets a lot of health back, and coming out of his 5th skill, he's immune for 4 seconds. Perfect. Same thing could happen at the end of his 4th skill. There's just so many different opportunities for him to trigger this now and for it to be useful, whereas before you could get the heal when you are at max health and it wouldn't help. Or you could get the immunity when you had 1 HP left and then you would just die after 4 seconds. So I think the fact that you're getting a 2-for-1 and the fact that he has more iframes now to make up for the fact that it's not when being hit and it's when hitting, still makes this one of the best passives in the game. So for anybody out there trying to tell you that this is actually worse, sorry honey, it's not. Lastly, I do want to put out there a prediction that I have for Thanos, and I think that this is kind of the test or the testing grounds for native tier 2 uniforms. If you're not familiar with native tier 2 uniforms, on top of having a different price tag aside from Doctor Strange's, we're going to ignore that one and pretend that one doesn't exist, it also has additional costs to the bearer once you upgrade it. So this one obviously has an all attack, all defense of 29%, which is way higher than the 20% you get for regular uniforms, Doctor Strange is included. It goes all the way up to 35%. So you can see clearly that there's a power creep going on between 20 and 35%, but that justifies the price tag. In addition to that, the uniform upgrade also costs more. You can see just going from heroic to legendary costs 240 uniform upgrade kits. This normally costs 120, so that literally doubles the cost. In addition, you have Chaos Nordstones, you have gold, I think the cost is also doubled, and you have the black antimatter. So all of the costs are doubled. The stat boosts are almost doubled, 35 versus 20. The skill changes are amazing, but furthermore, this opens the door for new tier 2, native tier 2 uniforms for characters like Jean Grey, Odin, Dormammu. More importantly, I think that this sets the tone for what we can expect to see with Infinity War, because a lot of people have been comparing this uniform and saying, well, isn't Thanos going to get one for Infinity War? Yeah, you know what? He might. And it might be better than this one. It might be similar, it might be almost the same. He probably will get one. The rest of the Black Order will probably get theirs as well. And it will probably look something like this. So I think this uniform is the precursor, is the testing grounds, the beta for Netmarble to see. Was the reception good? Did they sell a lot of Thanos' uniforms? Did people like the fact that it, you know, radically spikes his power damage and it justifies the price tag, even though the cost of upgrading it is expensive, even though you can't use a rank up ticket on him? Just to be clear, guys, you cannot use upgrade tickets on natural tier 2 characters. I think so. I think the answer to all of those questions is yes. They were all rhetorical. So if you like this uniform, expect to see more of it. If you didn't like this uniform, expect to see more of it. But overall, I think this is, you know, a step in the right direction. I like the fact that it justifies its cost and it's not, you know, understated for the value. Yes, it makes Thanos unreasonably powerful compared to where he was before, but that should be the case. He's Thanos the Mad Titan and he's gotten most of the Infinity Gems. So you know what? Eat my comics. Anyways, guys, let me know what you think of this uniform breakdown and ranking and overall value discussion. And of course, guys, if you like what you see, I hope to see you again tomorrow. Rainbow Fist.